Rain drizzled softly over the cracked windowpane of a small apartment in downtown Chicago. Inside, Lena Carter sat on the edge of her couch, clutching a thick, cream-colored envelope with trembling fingers. Her hands were rough from years of double shifts at the diner, her nails chipped, her hair tied in a tired bun. She hadn't seen luxury stationery in years, and yet here it was, hand-delivered, bearing the name she had once loved more than her own life. Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Reynolds cordially invite you to their wedding ceremony. The word stung like salt on an open wound. Lena's eyes blurred. Alexander Reynolds, her ex-husband. The man she'd married at 22 when he was nothing but a dreamer, and she, his only believer. They had built their world together from the ground up, until the fame came, the fortune followed, and Alexander decided his poor, unpolished wife didn't fit the image of a rising tech mogul. He'd left her 5 years ago with nothing but a few clothes and a broken heart. She had begged him once, just once, to stay. But he'd said coldly, "You'll only hold me back, Lena. I need someone who matches my world." And now he was marrying that someone, a sleek socialite named Vanessa Harlow, heiress to an empire and every bit the trophy Alexander had once wanted. Lena laughed bitterly through her tears. "Guess the joke's on me," she whispered. But what Alexander didn't know, what no one in Chicago knew, was that Lena hadn't just vanished into poverty. Yes, she'd started from rock bottom. She'd washed dishes, waited tables, and lived off borrowed hope. But she'd also built something of her own in silence. A small investment in a friend's logistics company had turned into a multi-million-dollar venture. That friend, Michael Turner, a quiet billionaire known for keeping out of tabloids, had become her business partner, and something more. Still, Lena had never flaunted her success. She'd stayed humble, raising her 2 little secrets in peace, a pair of twins, born 9 months after Alexander had walked away. He'd never known about them. The morning after receiving the invitation, Lena stood by the window watching her twins, Ethan and Emma, play with their toy planes. Both had their father's striking blue eyes and confident smile. Ethan looked up and grinned. "Mom, when's Dad coming home?" Lena froze. "Honey, he's not coming home. Remember, he lives far away now." Emma tilted her head. "But he sent us a letter, right? You said it was from Daddy." Lena's heart sank. She hadn't realized they'd seen the envelope. "Yes," she said softly, forcing a smile. "He sent an invitation." "To what?" She took a deep breath. "To his wedding." Both children fell silent for a moment. Then Ethan said with childlike innocence, "Are we going too?" Lena didn't know what to say. She wanted to protect them, to shield them from the pain of rejection. But another part of her, the part that had once loved Alexander, wanted to walk into that wedding not as the broken ex-wife he'd abandoned, but as the woman she had become. She picked up her phone and dialed Michael. "Michael Turner speaking." His calm voice came through. "Hey, it's me," she said. He chuckled. "You sound serious. What's wrong?" "I got an invitation to Alexander's wedding." The line went quiet for a moment. Then Michael asked, "Do you want to go?" "I don't know. Maybe I just want closure." Michael's tone softened. "Then go. But not as the woman he left. Go as the woman who doesn't need him anymore." Lena smiled faintly. "You always know what to say." "I'll have the jet ready," he said simply. She blinked. "Michael. No, that's too much." "Lena," he interrupted gently. "You're the co-owner of Turner Logistics. You're not walking anywhere, you're arriving. Let him see what he threw away." 2 weeks later, the day of the wedding arrived. The venue was nothing short of extravagant, a glass-domed estate overlooking Lake Geneva, filled with celebrities, journalists, and socialites. Helicopters buzzed overhead, capturing every golden moment of Chicago's wedding of the year. Alexander stood near the altar, looking every bit the polished billionaire groom in his tailored Armani suit. His bride, Vanessa, was radiant, draped in diamonds and designer lace. Everything was perfect, until a commotion outside drew everyone's attention. A sleek silver jet descended gracefully onto the private landing strip nearby. The noise hushed the crowd as murmurs filled the air. Guests craned their necks to see who was arriving. Even the photographers turned their lenses skyward. When the door of the jet opened, a woman stepped out, tall, elegant, and breathtaking. Her hair flowed in glossy waves, her emerald gown shimmering under the sunlight. 2 well-dressed children followed her, holding her hands. Alexander's jaw dropped. It took him a few seconds to recognize her. "Lena," he whispered in disbelief. Every guest turned toward him. Cameras clicked furiously. Lena walked toward the venue with quiet grace, her twins on either side. Her confidence radiated like a queen returning to her kingdom. Even Vanessa's painted smile faltered as she saw Alexander's face pale. When Lena reached the steps, she smiled faintly. "Hello, Alexander. Long time no see," he stammered. I didn't think you'd come." She tilted her head. "You invited me, didn't you?" He looked at the children, confusion washing over him. Are those?" Lena looked down at Ethan and Emma. "Yes, meet your twins." The crowd gasped. Vanessa's bouquet slipped from her trembling hands. Alexander's world spun. My children." Lena nodded calmly. "You walked away before you ever knew." A stunned silence fell. Even the reporters froze, sensing a scandal worth a fortune. Then Lena smiled sweetly. "Don't worry, Alexander. We're not here to ruin your special day. We just came to wish you well." She turned, taking her children's hands. Behind her, a black limousine pulled up, the driver stepping out to open the door. On the vehicle's hood gleamed a golden emblem, Turner Enterprises. Before stepping inside, she glanced back one last time. "Oh, and Alexander, tell your new wife congratulations. She's marrying a man who gave up diamonds for glass." And with that, Lena slid into the limousine, leaving a silent crowd and a heartbroken groom behind. The wedding was supposed to be the highlight of Alexander Reynolds' life. But after Lena's arrival, it turned into a public disaster. Within hours, social media exploded with photos and headlines. Greater than, tech billionaire's ex-wife arrives in jet with his secret twins. Lena Carter, from poor waitress to power partner of Turner Enterprises. Every major network replayed the footage on loop. Vanessa's parents were humiliated, the investors jittery, and the board members calling non-stop. The perfect image Alexander had built began to crack. Vanessa had stormed out halfway through the reception. "You humiliated me, Alex," she shouted before the cameras. "How could you not tell me you had children?" "I didn't know," he had tried to explain. But Vanessa wasn't listening. The engagement ended that same evening. Now, 2 days later, Alexander sat alone in his penthouse suite overlooking the Chicago skyline, his mind spiraling. His career was on fire, but for the wrong reasons. The press wanted interviews, but he wanted one thing only, to see Lena again. He finally found her location through a mutual acquaintance. She was staying in a luxurious mansion on the city's outskirts, Michael Turner's estate. He drove there at sunset. The iron gates opened silently, and Alexander's car rolled through the marble driveway. The mansion stood tall and modern, surrounded by manicured gardens and a shimmering pool. It was the kind of wealth that made even him, a self-made millionaire, feel small. Lena stood by the terrace, watching her twins chase each other on the lawn. She turned when she heard footsteps. "Alexander," she said calmly. "I thought you'd be busy repairing your image." He hesitated, searching her eyes. "Lena, can we talk?" She nodded, gesturing to a nearby table. The air between them was thick with unspoken words. "You should have told me," he began. "About the kids. About everything." She raised an eyebrow. When you told me I was holding you back. When you replaced me before the ink was dry on the divorce papers." He flinched. "I was stupid, ambitious. I thought success meant finding someone who fit the picture. But that picture wasn't real, Lena." She gave a soft, almost sad smile. "You don't get to regret it now, Alexander. You chose your path." He leaned forward. "I just want to know them, Ethan and Emma. Please." Lena looked at him for a long time before answering. "They deserve to know the truth, yes. But they also deserve peace. I don't want them growing up in the shadow of your mistakes or your fame." He nodded. "You're right, but can I, at least see them sometimes?" She sighed. "Maybe, if they want it." For a moment, silence settled. The children's laughter echoed through the garden. Then Alexander asked, "And Michael Turner? What is he to you?" Lena glanced toward the driveway, where Michael's black Bentley had just pulled in. "He's my partner," she said simply. "In business?" Alexander asked, though he already feared the answer. "In everything," she replied. Michael walked toward them, tall, confident, and composed, his presence commanding yet calm. He shook Alexander's hand politely. "Mr. Reynolds." Quite the surprise. "I didn't mean to intrude," Alexander said. "I just needed to talk." Michael's expression remained courteous. "Understandable, but I'd appreciate it if you keep these visits respectful. Lena's been through enough." Lena placed a gentle hand on Michael's arm. "It's fine. We're just talking." Michael nodded. "All right, I'll give you two a moment." He walked toward the twins, who ran to greet him excitedly, shouting, "Uncle Mike." Alexander watched as Michael lifted Emma into his arms, laughing warmly. The sight pierced Alexander's heart like a knife. That was the kind of father he should have been. He turned to Lena. "So, they think he's their uncle?" She nodded. "For now, but maybe not for long." Alexander frowned. "You're marrying him?" Lena looked out toward the garden. "He's been there when I had nothing. Helped me build everything I have today. He didn't care about my past or where I came from. He just believed in me. And he loves my kids as if they were his own." Alexander's chest tightened. "Lena, I made a mistake. I know that now, but I still..." She cut him off. "No, Alex, you don't get to say that anymore. I begged you to stay once. You walked away without looking back. You didn't just lose me, you lost the chance to be a father, to be part of our lives." Tears glimmered in her eyes, though her voice stayed steady. "And now, for the first time in years, I'm happy. You should try to be, too." The sun was setting when Alexander finally stood to leave. The twins ran up to him curiously. "Are you Mommy's friend?" Ethan asked. Alexander crouched down. "Something like that." Emma smiled shyly. "You have eyes like mine." He felt his throat tighten. "Yeah, I guess I do." Lena watched silently as Alexander hugged them gently before standing. "Goodbye, Lena," he said quietly. "Goodbye, Alexander," she replied. "Take care of yourself." He nodded, walked to his car, and drove away. From the rearview mirror, he saw Lena laughing with Michael and the twins, her face glowing in the orange light. It was the picture of a life that could have been his, if he hadn't been blinded by pride. Weeks passed. The wedding scandal died down, replaced by new gossip. Alexander poured himself into charity work, quietly funding programs for single mothers and children, perhaps a silent way to make amends. Meanwhile, Lena's business empire grew even stronger. She and Michael officially announced their engagement, and soon the world learned the truth. Turner Logistics had a new CEO, Lena Carter Turner, the woman once dismissed as not good enough. During the press conference, a reporter asked her, "Do you have any regrets about your past marriage?" Lena smiled gracefully and replied, "No. I don't regret where I came from or who I loved. Every heartbreak taught me something valuable. Some people enter your life to show you love, others enter to show you your worth." The room erupted in applause. That night, as the family jet soared above the clouds toward their new home in New York, Lena sat between her twins, gazing out the window. Michael leaned over and kissed her hand. "You okay?" he asked. She smiled softly. "I am now." Below them, the city lights shimmered like stars, beautiful, distant, and silent. Somewhere down there, Alexander stood alone on his balcony, looking up at the same sky, whispering the words that would never reach her ears.